It's Arkanoid without the power-ups. Or is it Breakout with slightly nicer graphics? Does it really matter? There's no knob on Game Boy to play this properly anyway. Released in 1989 for the original Game Boy as one of the launch titles for the system, Alleyway is Nintendo's take on Breakout. You know Breakout, that game where you control a paddle with a knob and bounce the ball to break bricks on a wall? Or maybe you're more familiar with Arkanoid, the Taito arcade game where you control a paddle with a knob and bounce the ball to break bricks on a wall that may or may not produce power-ups to help you out. Well, Alleyway is the in-between of those two games. It has the slightly nicer graphics of Arkanoid, but none of the power-ups or a vaguely interesting storyline to justify Mario's existence in this world other than... It's a me, Mario, me play the Breakout with me balls, mamma mia. Right, so Alleyway is familiar fare to anyone who has played this sort of game before. You bounce a ball to clear the screen of bricks to move on to the next round. Ball gets by you, it blows up, you lose a life, lose all your lives, and Mario exits the non-boss vehicle thing, whatever paddle thing, and commits suicide. Good job, player. So Alleyway plays like Breakout, but does something a little different. Round 1 starts off with a standard wall layout that you have to clear out, pretty straightforward. Then you get the round 2, which gives you the same wall layout as in round 1, except now the bricks are moving from side to side, which makes things a tad more challenging. And then round 3 gives you the same wall layout as the first 2 rounds, except instead of constant motion from left to right or right to left or whatever the case may be, it'll advance closer to you every so often, and sometimes add more bricks to the field for you to clear. And then after the 3rd round, you get a quick bonus round that you could try and clear for bonus points before time runs out or before your ball hits the floor, before moving on to the next round, which thankfully gives you a new layout of bricks for you to clear away. But that's the general idea of Alleyway's level progression. First round introduces a new layout, 2nd round moves the layout from left to right or whatever the case may be, 3rd round pushes the layout forward and tries to close you in or ambush you or whatever, and the 4th round is the bonus picture. Repeat several more times, you eventually get a congratulatory message before looping back to the first stage and beginning the cycle anew. Right, so traditionally this sort of paddle game is played with a paddle controller, a knob-like device that provides precise control over your paddle gimmick, and the Game Boy obviously does not have this. So what Alleyway does is make it so that holding down the A button while moving your paddle will speed it up, while holding down B will slow it down. It's never going to replace a proper paddle controller or even a mouse for that matter, and it's still not quite ideal for this sort of game, but it does get the job done, and at the very least, Alleyway is constructed in a way that takes the limited control into account. That having been said, however, Alleyway is a bit of a shallow game. It tries to change things up with moving scenery and such, but it doesn't change the fact that you're playing the same layout 3 times in a row before you move on to something else, and after a while, it does start to get a bit boring. At the very least, Arkanoid gave you a wide variety of board layouts for you to tackle, and Breakout had different modes of play to keep things interesting. Alleyway, unfortunately, doesn't even provide that much. Alleyway sports some fairly simplistic graphics, with the only detailed sprites present being the non-boss spaceship, or whatever you want to call it, and that's it. Even Mario looks like a lesser version of the sprite that was used in Super Mario Land. Speaking of which, I do like the Mario-esque layouts for the bonus rounds, those are nice, but that's about all the game has going for it visually. On the sound front, you have a couple basic jingles that play every so often, and some annoying ball bouncing sound effects, whose pitch shift whenever you hit higher bricks. I generally play this with the sound off and nothing of note is lost in translation. Overall, Alleyway is just a big pile of meh. In all fairness though, it's not necessarily a bad game. Hell, as a launch title on Game Boy, it's the sort of simplistic fare that's ideal for the portable format at a time, and certainly a far cry from those handheld Tiger electronic things that were all the rage. At the same time though, when your launch line includes the likes of Tetris and Super Mario Land, Alleyway ends up being a bit lacking. Needless to say, you've got better options in regards to the style of game elsewhere, and yeah, I've got nothing. Good night.